So you're thinking about homeschooling, or you've decided you're 100% homeschooling it, but you don't know where to start. Well, this is the video that's gonna help you kind of get started. My name is Leilani. I am a former public and private school teacher over 10 years. I currently do homeschool evaluations for the homeschool families in the state of Florida, and I am a homeschool mom of 4 beautiful kids. The youngest one does have Down syndrome. I've had experience with ADHD, autism throughout my teaching career and personal life. So I'm gonna share with you how to get started as a homeschool mom without getting completely overwhelmed, because that's what pretty much everybody does when they wanna start homeschooling. But let's just kind of keep this simple. This is gonna be a 3-part series. The first video, I'm here to address homeschool laws, curriculum, how to get it for your first year, organization, the materials that you're probably gonna need, and planning it out. In the second video is after you kind of got things established, how you're gonna find out your learning style, your child's learning style. They might be the same, might be different. We're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna talk about all the different homeschool philosophies out there and how to find the one that you think is best for you. And in the third video, I'm gonna show you how you can research curriculum properly without getting overwhelmed, even though that's sometimes inevitable, but I'm gonna guide you through that. We're gonna talk about co-ops, socialization, play dates, extras, all that fun kind of stuff. Oh, and conventions. We're going to talk about conventions. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below, and I'm going to address all those questions at the end of the third video. So now you have a nice little package of videos that can kind of help you get started without being overwhelmed. This is, Homeschool Basics 101, Beginner's Guide. I did a lot of research for you guys, so making sure I can touch all the little points that I know you guys have questions on. So let's get started super quick. My friend Ashley over at Joyful Noise Learning is joining me on this series. So make sure to head over to her channel when you're through with this video. The link is down in the description box below. First thing that you need to do is go and check out your state's homeschool laws, because every single state has a different set of requirements for you homeschool families out there. Honestly, the best resource that you can possibly find out there for this information is the HSLDA. I'm gonna stick the website down in the description box below. But honestly, they're gonna go through each and every one of the states. They're gonna have a video that you can watch to learn about the homeschool laws. I'm sure they're gonna link it up to the law itself. And if you do join their organization, which you can get a lifetime membership for a fairly reasonable price, or a year-long membership, you will have access to some of their resources. People that you can get on the phone with, you can talk to, and they can kind of help you navigate through this homeschool thing if you need that help. So that is an excellent, excellent resource, and you do want to check them out first, because you do want to know the homeschool laws of your state, because like I said, every state is totally different. Not totally, I mean, there's some similarities, but they're different. They're different enough that you need to know, right? Now, homeschool curriculum shopping can be super, super intimidating, super, super overwhelming, just like, the business world in general. When there's a high demand, there's gonna be a high supply and lots of competition, and every piece of curriculum out there, the company is gonna say it's the best one for you. They're gonna give you all the bells and whistles. They're gonna talk about how great it is. That's just the world of business, and that homeschool curriculum is a business, guys. It's not just once you decide to homeschool, they hand you curriculum from the school district and say, here you go. Most homeschool districts just kind of wipe their hands clean and say, have fun. That's what they usually do. And I get a lot of phone calls of parents completely lost. You're gonna have to find your kid's own curriculum. Oh, unless you do the virtual school, but that's a whole nother topic. So here are my suggestions. Ask yourself these 4 questions. Number 1, do you want it to be virtual or not virtual? Number 2, do you want a Christian-based curriculum or do you want a secular curriculum? Number 3, do you want to do school together as a whole family for some subjects, or do you want to keep each child individual with their curriculum? And number 4, are you considering hiring a tutor or participating in a homeschool co-op, or are you going to do it on your own? Those would be the first questions I would ask yourself. And then once you get an answer to those questions, you can kind of sift through some of these things I'm going to talk about. Now, this is just my opinion when it comes to curriculum choosing, because it's so overwhelming out there. And if you don't know what you're doing, It's always good the first year to get a box curriculum, or kind of like an all-in-one curriculum where you order it from the company and you get your math, your science, your language arts, your history, your extracurriculars, your art, your whatever. It's just in a box and you get all your readers and it's there. It's more expensive to do it that way, but your first year homeschooling, you're probably going to be really nervous. You're probably going to be scared that you're not doing it right, and you need some guidance, and it's worth the money. I think it's worth the investment for the first year, at least for the first year, if not for every year, because sometimes you'll find out you love that curriculum that you picked out and you're going to keep doing it, and that's totally fine. Know so many people who do that, but at least for the first year, if you're worried about those things, make sure you get a box curriculum with everything in there. So all you have to do is open the book and go with it and focus on your kids. Homeschooling is definitely one of those things. It's a acquired learning. You have to kind of go through it a couple times, couple years through it before you feel like you actually have the hang of it. And this is my reminder to subscribe to this channel, because this is our journey as a homeschool family with a special needs daughter. She has Down syndrome, and we are just learning about and navigating. You can't say that as fast as learning, but we're navigating through this crazy homeschool world together and sharing experiences with each other, which is really cool. So check out the comments down below because it's happening down there. All right, so back on track. Box curriculums. Let's talk some examples. You can obviously go online and Google box-in-one homeschool curriculums, all-in-one homeschool curriculums, but just to throw out a few of the popular ones: Abeka, Sunlight, Bookshark, BJU, Veritas. Classical Conversations is kind of an all-in-one thing, but it's a co-op, so to speak. So if it's really good, you should check that one out. Christian Liberty Press, The Good and the Beautiful, Time for Learning, My Father's World. Those are just to name a few. I'm sure some of you can add some down in the description box below. Please do. So like I said, use that box curriculum, my suggestion, for the first year. And then after that, you can kind of experiment a little bit with stuff once you get the hang of it, because you know what you're looking for and you know what they need. You will have the entire year to learn and research different curriculum and find out what clicks best with your family. So that's my suggestion to make your life just a little bit easier. Now let's talk about organization. I know if you go on YouTube, you're gonna see these amazing videos of homeschool rooms and how they organize. There's a lot of people that have spent years coming up with these different designs and ways they organize, and it's great, but this is your first year. You don't need to spend your time decorating a homeschool room, buying all the things. Just get the basics. Get a box, or a couple boxes, or a shelf. I mean, honestly, there are a lot of homeschool moms out there that don't have a room and only have a shelf and a kitchen table to do their homeschool on. I did that for years. For years, we did that. One tip, though, that I have for you, if you have multiple kids, color code. And consider, if the curriculum asks for it, and if you see it's a possibility, consider doing journals or notebooks. So you could have like a math notebook, right? So they could do all their stuff in the math notebook if they're not writing in the book itself. If you want to save that book, have them write in the notebook or the journal. Same is true with language arts, grammar, science. Get notebooks to accompany the actual textbooks unless you want them writing in the notebook. But either way, color code your kids. If you don't want to color code your kids, you could color code subjects. That's another option you could do. But use that color coding system to help you, because it's going to make things a lot faster when you're pulling things out. Just a little tip, that notebooking system to save, your textbooks is a really good, saves money. Especially if you're going to reuse them again. Or if you're going to sell them again. People like clean copies. You make more money that way. Materials, what do you actually need to start homeschooling? I would first suggest a table and a chair. That would be my suggestion. the first suggestion. One that's a nice height so they can actually, you know, write on it properly. If they're shorter, you know, maybe get a little table, little chair, because you really want to teach good, proper posture and penmanship when you're teaching and homeschooling. If they're bigger, you know, kitchen table works perfectly. Of course, you want a pencil, and you want a pencil sharpener, and you want some paper or the notebooks. You know, maybe a ruler. That might be helpful for math. Do check your curriculum for all those little extras, but also don't feel like you have to get it like all up front, because Amazon.com, you can order it and they'll send it to you. And if you have Prime, it could be overnight if you need to. So what I do, even now, I'll focus on a week or two of supplies that we need. Pencils, be aware that you will lose your pencils and the erasers will go. So just know that. Mechanical pencils are great, but if your kids like to pull out the lead and throw them on the floor, they do mark up the floor if they get caught under the chairs. So, you know, that's something to think about, pencils versus mechanical pencils, but that's also like, you know, just a thought. And of course, there's scissors and glue and construction paper and that kind of stuff, but do look at the material list in the curriculum, because some of those you may never use construction paper, so you don't want to buy it if you're not going to use it. But you will need, you know, pencils, paper, and a table and chair. Planning! I know you like my jazz hands. Planning with jazz hands. If you look on YouTube, you will find super planners, like all these planners everywhere for homeschooling, which is great. And if you are a planner person, go for it. You know what works best for you, and if you use planners, use it. Because some of us need planners to keep ourselves on track. Otherwise, we just kind of forget that we're homeschooling, and we don't want that. But sometimes planners can be overly overwhelming for a lot of us too. The nice thing about getting a box curriculum is that it's open and go and the planning's already done for you, so you don't have to worry too much about the planning aspect of things. However, some states will require you to keep attendance. So if that's the case, just open up Google Docs, make a spreadsheet, and just check it off as the days go by. Or get a notebook and just record it. I mean, as long as it's recorded, that's all they care about. Now, I don't live in a state that requires attendance, so do check to see the requirements for the attendance sheets. If there's anything special that they need, do check the laws out and do check with HSLDA. But this should definitely get you guys started. Make sure to stay subscribed to my channel, as we will release these videos quite consecutively. Probably the next one will be video 2, and then obviously video 3, once I gather some of your good questions, I'll record that and answer some of your questions that you have about beginning homeschooling. So thank you guys for watching, and I am looking forward to seeing you in our next video. Talk to you later. Bye.